Hey guys, what is going on? Dylan here. Warden's Ruin dungeon just released earlier today. We have completed it. So here I have a little bit of a guide kind of showing you each encounter, the steps to take to complete it, and then some tips along the way or things that I found that I probably would have changed in my first run through of it. So, first encounter, we have this Scorn bad guy here, bad man. He's going to spawn some Scorn enemies around the arena, so just go ahead and add clear for now. After a little bit, he is going to teleport you. And he's going to teleport you into a cage. You'll see that in a second here. All right, so you're teleported into a cage. There's going to be 3 Blight eyes around each cage. You'll have to shoot the 3 around your cage in order for it to release you. So there's the third one. Door opens, you can go out. Now on the ground, you can see the Blight totems. Don't shoot those, just stand in the kind of ring around there to capture it. You'll see Dill's, his just illuminated blue. That means it is now captured. You'll have to capture 2 of these. Once that is done, you will then be able to do damage to the boss. For our first time running through this, we used the Dragon's Breath rocket launcher. Dill was using Gathering Storm. I was using the Well of Radiance, and we just laid into it with rocket launchers and seemed to do great damage. I'm sure we could probably get more damage out of this boss. He seemed rather squishy in comparison to some of the other dungeon bosses. So you just basically keep rinsing and repeating. That, I think this was our 3rd phase. Should very easily be a 2 phase with 3 people. We were only doing this with 2 men. So rockets, Well of Radiance, Gathering Storm is what we used. And honestly, I probably would suggest that for this first boss as well. Not much trouble with that one. That was a pretty easy encounter, to be honest. And all right, after you complete that, you're going to get teleported into this prison cell here. Now, it's different if you have 1 person versus 2 versus 3. If you're solo, you're going to have a lot more access to different rooms. 2-manning it, I was in this room. Dill was in one across the hall. What you want to do is you're going to look at this totem, or not totem, excuse me, this like tablet, this stone tablet on the ground. It's going to have a number on it. If you can see there, it has 4. What that means is 4 of the mechanisms, there's 6 mechanisms in total that you can shoot. 4 of them have to be rotating clockwise. If you can see, the way we interpreted it is the skeleton's right arm is on it, which right means they need to be rotating to the right, which means clockwise. So Dill shot 2 clockwise and 2 counterclockwise, so I need to shoot mine and make them going clockwise. Basically, if you shoot it, it'll start going counter, shoot it again to stop it, shoot it again, and it'll start going the other way. So once you have shot the correct number, and the number will change each time as far as my understanding goes. So this time it was 4 clockwise and 2 counterclockwise. So basically, pay attention to the number on that tablet, shoot that many mechanisms clockwise. And then, of course, if you're doing the solo, duo, or trio, you'll have to communicate with your teammates. Solo, you will have access to all the rooms, so you can see all the mechanisms. After that, you will shoot a lever that Dill shot, and it will let you out. All right, on to the second encounter. We're dealing with our Taken Ogre. All right, this one is going to feature the first boss a little bit, with a little bit more on it. So, in the middle, a bunch of Taken are going to spawn, including Taken yellow bars, Taken enemies. There's also going to be Taken Scorn running around the arena as well. There are going to be 6 of those Blight eyes kind of hovering in the middle area. Once you've shot all 6 of them, you're going to get a Scorn boss to spawn, just like the first encounter. Killing him will drop another Blight totem that you'll need to capture, just like the first encounter. Now, he will put down a Blight totem on his own, unless you melt him too quick, like I did. I melted him too fast, and he died and only put 1 totem down, but he will put 2 totems down. The reason that 2 totems is good is because you will get 2 solar orbs to spawn. And I'll explain that in a second. So, after you've done all this, you're going to get this whole flurry of snow going on, and you're going to get a biting cold debuff to count up. If that reaches 10, you will die. So if you saw there, I ran and stand by a torch. If you're standing by that torch, then it will remove those debuffs, kind of, heating you back up. And so then once that imminent wish gets down to 0, there's going to be these fireballs that spawn in the middle, and you get 1 fireball for every single Blight totem you've captured. Dill captured 2. I only captured 1, therefore we have 3. You need to capture 4 of them in order to be able to do damage to the boss. So you can see there why I wanted to have 2 Blight totems. So you're going to run them over here, and you can see the lanterns that we're replacing those on. You place all 4 lanterns, and you do damage. So Dill's going and taking the 4th and final lantern, or fireball, to that lantern over there. Once he places that, then damage will start. Now, for the damage phase, there is going to be this whole snow flurry thing going on again. So you have to stand next to the lantern in order to do damage. If you walk away from it, then the biting cold debuff will build up, and you won't be able to do any damage to the boss. So you're going to stand by the lantern, do damage. Once you start going cold, the fire goes out essentially. That's when you'll have to move to the next totem. If you're doing this with a squad, I would have an understanding of, you know, which lantern are you going to start on, and then which way are you going to rotate for damage. Dill and I kind of we did fine. I think we did this on our second try. But we did sometimes go opposite directions and things like that. So just make sure that you have that worked out with your fire team, that you are rotating to the correct lanterns. Also, for some reason, with us, heavy was a pain in the ass here. We couldn't get any heavy to save our lives. And you'll see here in a minute, I'm trying to kill him with a Zeoli's Bane at the end here. A mistake that I made that I would definitely change is I would strongly recommend Malfeasance, especially for this boss, because... I mean, Taken. I switched to it for the final boss, and the difference in damage was crazy. So again, we're 2-manning this. Still's using Gathering Storm still, I believe. I am using Well of Radiance. Again, I would suggest Well of Radiance. And then maybe I did put up a Blade Barrage build earlier. I would maybe suggest something like that. I feel like that would do a great amount of damage, and you would get your Blade Barrages back pretty routinely. I will probably be using that Blade Barrage build going into my Hunter completion of this. So after you've done enough damage, though, I believe this boss had like 12 million, something like that. I think it was somewhere in that ballpark. But after you've done the damage, then there you go. And then on to the final boss. All right, third and final boss. We've got a third for this one. We did it duo. We almost completed the boss, and then we died, and we didn't feel like going back and doing the whole thing over again, so we got a third in here. So you're going to add clear. Kill the Taken. There's going to be blights that pop up on the arena that if you're standing like in the pool of blight, you're going to take damage, so you just got to be careful for those. And then, of course, there's going to be the 6 blight eyes again. Killing those will spawn the Scorn yellow bar just like before. So a lot of it stayed the same. So also the reason I would switch to Malfeasance for this is it 2-taps the blight eyes and it 2-taps the blight on the field. It just makes it perfect for getting rid of all the unnecessary crap in the arena. So you're going to kill this guy, and he's going to spawn another totem, and also see he spawned one there without me killing him. Now, the thing that changes here is you're going to get a debuff called Vengeful Corruption. You need to melee this immune Scorn guy here in order to basically transfer that debuff over to him. Once that reaches 0, you will die with that debuff, so just make sure you get it out of your hands. It's a little difficult because you're also trying to capture the totems as well. But once you've captured those totems, now it is time to start damage. Now, as far as damage goes, you can see there is a little sliver of damage that we need to do to him. So there is a threshold that we have to meet. If you do not meet that threshold, the boss stays in this area. He will not teleport to the next area for you to progress. So it's important that you get him down to at least that first threshold. Because otherwise you'll basically just do the same thing you just did. There's no white mechanic or anything like that. It's just you have to just repeat what you were just doing. Once you've got him down past that threshold, you will then platform your way up to the second area, and you're going to basically be rotating counterclockwise going up to the next area, and you're just going to keep repeating that same process, killing the Scorn yellow bar, capturing the totem, transferring that debuff back to the immune Scorn, and then doing damage, getting past that threshold so that you can progress up to the next area. So here you see we are doing damage again, and in a second we are then going to progress up to the next area. Again, I would strongly recommend a Malfeasance for this. We were using rockets, but I would consider using Briar's Contempt or some type of linear fusion rifle, just because it is a big servitor, so it has a very large precision point, especially if you're using something with surrounded, since there's so many Taken around you at all times. So Here is the third and final section. Once you've done enough damage to get past that third and final threshold, you're going to jump up here to these 3 platforms. It is a big ring that is broken up into 3 separate sections. Think of these as 3 damage points. What we did was we rotated counterclockwise for damage, and you basically just do as much damage as you can. Now, this is kind of like the meat of the damage phase. This is where you do your most damage. Now, I have a theory that if you continue destroying those Blight eyes, then he will stay there for damage, but I don't know. It does seem like he spawns more and more and more of them, so obviously at a certain point it'll be tough to keep him there. But that is my working theory, is that you can extend that damage phase by destroying those Blight eyes, though I haven't been able to confirm that. Once you get him down to enough health and you've done capturing the Blight totems and all of that, you will be teleported to the final arena, the last stand arena here. And basically you're just taking off that last bit of health. I don't see any sort of wipe mechanic, though I don't know if one happened. We never actually got to that. But that is the Warden's Ruin dungeon. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know what you guys think. I like this dungeon. I love the aesthetic. I like the way it looks. Let me know if you guys agree in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all have a great day.